to the Morning Breadcast. I am Mark Grisick, your host with Digging for End Time Truths, and we are going to finish up the week speaking about the seen and the unseen. And we have covered a lot of different topics, and we're trying to kind of bring out the idea that, listen, there is an unseen world out there. And actually, the Apostle Paul and Jesus and John and a lot of all of the apostles, Jesus himself, told us to keep our focus on the unseen world. And you can't vacate the seen world because we live in that world. Jesus said, be in the world, but not of the world. So there's a seen and an unseen world, right? And today, to finish off the week, I kind of want to go back and cover a couple things that we talked about when we started the week. But I want to end up with the words of Jesus and how he directed us in this seen and unseen world, right? So we're going to pick up today where we were at the beginning of the week. We're going to go to John. We're going to go to John in chapter 3 and verse 6, where it says this: that which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the spirit is spirit. Now, Jesus is talking about the seen and the unseen. He's talking about if it's born of the flesh, it's the seen world. But if it's born of the spirit, it's the unseen world. So obviously, a few takeaways. There is the ability to birth things in the spirit, right? That which is born of the spirit is spirit. So something was born in the spirit, right? Jesus tells us that the next verse 7, he says, do not marvel that I said to you, you must be born again. So he's talking about having that spirit in you born, right? The unseen world comes alive in you and makes you a child of God, or the ability to be the child of God, right? Okay. Verse 8, Jesus explains it like this. He says, the wind blows where it wishes, and you hear the sound of it, but you cannot tell where it comes from and where it goes. So is everyone who is born of the Spirit. So Jesus picks out something that's unseen. He says the wind blows, and he even talks about sound. Have you ever seen sound? It's unseen, but it's there, right? So he's saying there's unseen things in this world. And he says being born of the Spirit, or that spirit world, is just like that. It's unseen, but it's clearly there. All right. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to leave you with something that Jesus spoke about in Matthew in the 6th chapter, where he's talking about, listen, Jesus, they followed Jesus around, man. He fed them, and he thought that, he was coming to set up his kingdom, and he was going to take care of them for the rest of their lives. Right. But Jesus said, listen, I'm going to go to Matthew chapter 6, verse 20. And he was talking to him, and he says, don't put so much focus on the seen world. Jesus in Matthew 6, verse 20, he says, lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, in the unseen world, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. In other words, if you put your focus on the unseen world, it's whatever you gain from that is not going to be corrupted or eaten. It's not going to rust. Thieves can't steal it from you. It's eternal rewards that can't be stolen, right? So I'm going to leave you with that scripture today, that you should lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, where thieves do not break in and steal, because that's where Jesus says to put your focus on, right? And I'm going to leave you with that nugget today, and we will see you again next time on the Morning Breadcast.